the community safe. We're here to stay, and we're going to go hand in hand with the residents of Fox Lake to ensure their security during this time. When an incident like this happens, it victimizes not just the police department, but the whole community. So we are here for them. The schools in the area did decide to close today, and that was for a couple reasons. Obviously, primarily to keep the children safe. A lot of children in this area do walk to school, and the schools made the determination to go ahead and cancel today for the safety. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Chief Alenko.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to start out by thanking all of the resources that have come together, offer their support to the task force. Currently, we're utilizing the FBI, ATF, and the United States Marshal's Office, as well as the Sheriff's Office, alongside our investigators. This is an ongoing investigation. We've been following up on leads since yesterday, throughout tonight, last night, and still continue following up on leads. We have a lot of social media leads coming in. The community's been fantastic in phoning in tips and leads. We're going through a lot of data and a lot of information. The state police has offered to provide us data intel resource specialist that's going to vet some of that information because it's being replicated and triplicated in some cases. And I'll be open for any questions at this point. Of course, I'm going to caveat this by telling you that this is still an ongoing criminal investigation, so I am going to be limited into giving you specific types of information. Yes, sir.
2 white men, 1 black man, the extent of the description that your men and women are operating.
That's correct. That was the initial radio traffic given out by the officer when he called in the suspicious persons. And that was the only description provided.
No dash cam video, no surveillance video as of yet that's been helpful.
We're going through local video systems. That's part of the process that we do when we canvass. Of course, yesterday the Sheriff's Office is coordinating a perimeter search in a specific area. Until that was concluded, we could not get our officers into the area to process the crime scene or start gathering some of that video information, and right now we are reviewing what we have and still collecting.
Commander, you don't know that you have the suspects on video?
We don't have anything that we have found on that video yet, but we're still in the early phases of reviewing it.
Commander, is the autopsy yielding any clues at all? Are you hopeful that that will give you some information? We understand that has been performed.
The autopsy was performed yesterday at the Lake County Coroner's Office at approximately 7 p.m., concluded about 9:30 p.m. last night. We've got some preliminary results from that. I'm not at liberty to reveal any of that, of course, because it is crucial and key information to our investigation. But in any autopsy, there is always forensics there that are going to assist us.
Commander, in light of the fact that it has been reported that one or two of these individuals had some physical contact with the body of Lieutenant Gliniewicz, my question is, were you able to get any fingerprints or any DNA from that crime scene?
I'm not sure where you obtained that information, but I can tell you that our evidence technicians did process the crime scene. Everything collected at that crime scene has now been turned over to the Northern Illinois Crime Lab. They're currently expediting processing any type of evidence, whether it be fingerprint evidence, DNA transfer, and we probably won't have those results for at least a day or so.
You can confirm that his gun was taken?
Can you say whether or not there was did the officer fire his gun, and can you say what made them suspicious? Why did he stop them? Why did he want to stop them?
You know, again, I can't reveal that information related to the firing of any weapon. As far as suspicious persons, obviously I can't speak for the officer. Whatever the case was, his only description was that he was going to be out with those 3 subjects, and it was a suspicious circumstance call.
Can you confirm that his gun was? Can you confirm that the gun was taken?
Okay. Again, we're going to rely on information, and there's processes involved in the initial investigation, canvassing, talking to people in the area, reviewing those videos that somebody had asked a question about, and building leads off of that. as always, we're relying on the public too. Many of these cases, not just officer involved homicides, but homicides in general, are greatly assisted by public information. And all it takes is one tip or good lead to break a case wide open. So we're vetting through those right now. We've got hundreds of those coming in.
Do you have any indication that the suspects crossed state lines?
We don't have any indication of that at all.
Is there a reward being found, or will there be?
We're in preliminary discussion with some of our federal partners related to a reward. We haven't quite gotten to that point yet. When we do, we'll issue either a press release or we'll have another media
Can you
conference.
confirm that the lieutenant's gun was taken?
Again, I'm not going to confirm any of that information because it is relevant to the course of this investigation, and that's key information that's going to help us along the way once we, and I'm being optimistic, apprehend the murderers of this officer.
Sir, did you say there was surveillance video that you're going through?
There's video throughout the area. As you know, it's pretty common nowadays, not only for businesses, but for private residents to have fairly sophisticated video systems. So we have been, quote, canvassing throughout the area and trying to identify specific locations and collect that video. Now, there's an evidentiary way of collecting that so it's not tainted down the road. So it is a little bit of a long process. And then the review of the video itself. There may be hours or there just may be minutes.
What's the plan for school tomorrow?
Not to my knowledge, no.
What's the plan for school tomorrow?
Can you give us a bit of a TikTok, like, 8 o'clock, he calls in, pursuing suspicious people, 8:10, backup arrives, 8:20, his body is found. I know your times are approximate, but it gives us a sense of a lapse.
Yeah, I can give you that offline. I don't want to go into generalities, but we can give you some kind of a timeline, so that would be fine.
Because there are 3 people here, that one of them is bound to tell somebody, and somebody may be able to help you out.
Generally, that's the case. We're being optimistic that may well be the case. If they don't tell us, usually if there's 3 or more, or even 2 or more involved, it's difficult to keep those types of secrets to yourself. So even if they don't tell us, they may tell somebody else. So even if we get it from a reliable source, it's good.
Was there a dash cam video? Was there a dash cam in the car?
There are dash cams in some of the vehicles, and again, we're reviewing that as well.
But in the officer's car?
I haven't confirmed that yet.
Was he shot with his own gun?
I can't, again, I'm going to be limited as to what I can confirm.
Commander, have you ruled out the possibility that the lieutenant was deliberately targeted in these hundreds of tips that you're vetting? Have you seen any messages that point to the possibility that he might have been deliberately targeted?
At this point in the investigation, no. However, we are not discounting anything. We're looking at every aspect and angle of this. And all of you in the media who have been experienced, and I'm sure you've been to a number of these press conferences, know that these types of investigations have many twists and turns that could happen within a couple of minutes.
What type of search is going on right now?
We have investigators out canvassing again, following up on leads, knocking on doors that we didn't get to yesterday evening near that perimeter area, because there were FBI, NIPAS, which are equivalent of our SWAT team, the Sheriff's Office. We're still securing those areas and ensuring our detective safety. So if you want to call that a search, you can refer to it. I'm referring to it as a canvass.
Is it kind of frustrating that after all the resources yesterday, you still didn't come up with them?
Certainly.
Is there a BOLO out that reaches
Yes.
farther than Illinois for how many states?
Yes.
Nationwide?
It's nationwide. We've even received calls, again, from various media sources. They're picking up information, I would presume from you folks, as far as Australia and England. All right, I'm sorry, you're going to have to ask me that again.
Has there been any decision on school for tomorrow?
That's not my decision. That is the village's decision. I'll defer that question to the village administration.
So any of you officers who are here helping out, or any of
Correct, they are.
And where? From?
Every department, virtually every department in Lake County is represented. We have resources from McHenry County. Our federal partners are here today working actively with our detectives. Again, ATF has got a presence, and the U.S. Marshal's Office has got a substantial presence, as well as the state police and the sheriff's office.
How many murders does the task force handle roughly on a year basis? And could you use some help, for example, from the Chicago Police Department, which handles many more?
I think we're adequately staffed. Our detectives and our evidence technicians are some of the best you're going to find. Putting a number on how many murders is, I can't put an exact number on it. It varies from year to year. We've roughly handled as many as 40 in a year to as few as a dozen.
When the lieutenant called in, did he make any indication that the suspects were on foot only or nearby a car? Did they come out of a car?
The presumption was, based on what we're interpreting from the radio traffic, is that they were on foot.
Chief, any confirmed sightings at this point? Anything?
Well, you know, we're getting information, and there was a release of a description, a really cursory, vague description. So, of course, we're getting the public calling in anytime they see that match of 3 individuals or even 2 individuals. And we are doing our due diligence in following up on that. And we've closed out those leads completely as being unsubstantiated.
Is there any area outside the 2-mile radius that's being searched?
I'm sorry?
Is there any, you said that the 2-mile radius, is there any area outside that being searched right now?
We're expanding out into the subdivisions. Again, I can't confirm that. That's key and crucial to our investigation.
Are you working with the family on arrangements for a burial?
The Village of Fox Lake, the 100 Club, the FOP, Congressman Dole's office. I know there's a number of resources that are out there that are helping the Village of Fox Lake. There's a vigil scheduled for tonight, from what I've been told. Yeah. So.
Chief mentions that there are these 3 suspects, but there's no evidence that the 3 suspects are traveling together, nor is there have anything to suggest A, that they're traveling together, and B, that they're even in this area.
No.
Can you say anything about a second weapon beyond the officer's service weapon?
No. Can't comment on that.
Are you satisfied, based on your searches yesterday, that they're not inside, for example, an empty vacation home somewhere in the chain of lakes? In that area you were searching, did you secure every single home?
I believe that the search teams did a thorough job, but I know there have been a number of national incidents where suspects have cleverly escaped or hidden in place, so anything's possible. So we are still on our guard when we are going to some of these homes, but we're satisfied that the results of yesterday's search were extremely thorough. But as police officers, and you understand we have murdered police officers, we're not taking any chances or making any assumptions.
Chief, I was just at the crime scene. While there, a law enforcement officer came by and said that they'll now reinstitute the crime scene and that we had to leave the area. Do you know anything about that and why?
Yeah, we're just doing now, it's called a secondary review of the crime scene itself. It's nothing more than that. Yesterday, we were fighting lighting conditions, and some of the conditions were getting pretty poor near the end of the day. That's just showing you the attention to detail that the evidence technicians are giving to this, and they're going out there and they're re-examining. Now, you've got to imagine that this is a very area that's got a lot of foliage around it, so they're turning over every leaf and blade of grass to see if there's anything else out there that they may have missed.
What do you tell people who are wondering, why aren't you guys searching? Why are you only canvassing? For people in the community who are wondering.
Same. One or the other. Search, canvas, it's the same thing. We're using in the investigative field canvas, but actually what we're doing is we're looking for the suspects.
What do you say to residents like yesterday in Fox Lake who were afraid to even let their dogs out? What do you say to them today?
Remain vigilant. have confidence in your police department. They've brought in a number of resources to assist. And if you suspect anything, if you see anything out of character, if you simply have a feeling that something is wrong, call the Fox Lake Police Department immediately.
And does that caution extend to other communities around here?
I would say it would, yes.
Commander, do you have graphically any idea where this man?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Do you have graphically any idea where these suspects could be?
No.
How many tips have you received?
Again, I can't comment on any of the evidence.
Is this the first police officer to fall in the line of duty here in Fox Lake?
Yes.
Were there any eyewitnesses?
Not going to comment on that either.
How much longer if you don't see any results through this canvassing today, and how much longer are you going to?
I'm not going to set a time limit on this. I have a murdered colleague, police officer, and we're not going to stop.
Chief, based on the fact that these men were evidently willing to shoot a police officer, how dangerous do you think they are? How can you rank them?
Shot a police officer. I think that speaks for itself. Extremely dangerous.
In the collection of leads that you have, does anything rise to the top? Is there a theme among the leads that you have?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that. I don't want to give away any of our current information and put misinformation out there or information that may help the suspects, so I can't answer that.
Do you believe you're making progress?
Yes, I think we are making progress. Anytime we get a lead, we move forward. Even if that lead is discounted, that is progress. So we are making progress.
Was the initial response about a reported robbery?
No.
Other than being shot, if the officer was injured in any other way, was he being
Again,
shot?
that's information I can't give you.
Was the officer called to that scene? Was there a 911 call, another call that sent him there? Or did he see that and radio it?
I can tell you the officer self-responded.
So it wasn't robbery, but what was suspicious activity? Why was he stopped?
Well, I can't speak for the officer again, but if you're driving down a roadway that's got nothing but open fields, possibly abandoned businesses, and you see three individuals there that have no reason for being there, it would be a fundamental police procedure to stop and at least question them as to why they're there. And again, I can't speak for exactly what happened or what the circumstances of the encounter were, or how these individuals were even acting when the officer first saw them.
So that was the scenario, though. It wasn't.
Correct.
Where's your command center set
The
up?
library was closed today. Would you be making any kind of recommendation to the school district or the town about
Again, I'm going to defer that to the village administration.
I understand that.
Yeah, we're going to be having a meeting with the sheriff's department, the leadership within Fox Lake. I'm going to presume there are going to be some school district representatives there, probably within the next.
Law enforcement's recommendation.
Well, we want to sit down and we want to analyze the impact first before we make any type of recommendation.
What's the mood among the police right now that you're working with?
Tenacious. They're focused, energetic, and they know exactly what their mission is. And we're hoping for the best outcome of what we're doing. We've got officers coming in, and we had officers yesterday coming in on their own time to offer assistance. I'm getting text messages from police departments all over the Collier counties offering assistance off duty, canine units, detectives. So we have to gauge our resources as well.
You had 400 officers out here yesterday, and
Yeah.
40 canine, 40 dogs. What's your level of resources today and as you look forward?
We probably have about, I'd say, approximately 100 investigators working this case actively right now. But then we also have support units coming in that are actually going to be funneling data for us, tracking some of the electronics, reviewing video. So those are all support personnel.
Have you been in touch with the Gliniewicz family?
Have I been in touch with them? I personally have not been in touch with them. Again, this is an anomaly for Lake County as well as this community. I know the Fox Lake Police Department, every employee, no matter whether the police or any employee within any of the other divisions, are devastated by this loss. I didn't know the officer personally, but everything that's been told to me about him is that he was an outstanding police officer, an outstanding community member, and a father, we have to remember, of 4 children. So,
What kind of help, Chief, is being offered to his fellow officers to help them?
yeah, we're the police department and the village of Fox Lake are working to get the Northeastern Illinois stress debriefing team in. They're offering employee assistance programs. We've got some clergy assistance as well. So yeah, that was almost immediate.
In the absence of any evidence that they are still in the area, how long would the saturation patrols continue?
Again, that's something we're going to discuss today, and I'm sure we're going to review that every day. So, thank you, folks. I think. Yes, sir.
Body cameras.
Thank you.
Lawn.
All right, guys. So that.